Welcome to all. My seminar topic is experimental research and its importance to science education. These are the synopses. First, introduction, experimental research design, experimental research design types, characteristic of the experimental research in educational technology and components, advantage and disadvantage, then conclusion. First, introduction. Experimental research is an attempt by the researchers to maintain control over all factors that may affect the result of an experiment. In doing this, researchers attempts to determine or predict what may occur. Next, experimental design. Experimental design is blueprint of the procedure that enables the researchers to test his hypothesis by researching valid conclusion about relationship between independent and dependent variable. Next, types of experimental research types: pre-experimental research design, true experimental research design, quasi-experimental research design. These are the types of experimental research design. First, pre-experimental research. A pre-experimental research study is an observational approach to performing an experiment. It is the most basic style of experimental research. Free experimental research can occur in one of these design structures: one shot case study research design, one group pre-test post-test design, static group comparison design. Next, quasi-experimental research means quasi-experimental research is similar to true experimental research and experimenters can apply it in similar ways. The primary distinction between the two is the lack of randomization when assigning participants to groups in quasi-experimental study. Next, true experimental research design means under true experimental condition, participants receive randomized assignments to different groups in the study. There are the three criteria must be met in the true experimental research: control group and experimental group, researcher manipulated variable, random assignment. Then characteristic of experimental research: dependent and independent variable, controlled condition, manipulation of variables, observation of the object of study. These are the characteristic of the experimental research. Then experimental research study steps. First, we have to identify and define the problem. Next, formulate hypothesis and its consequences. Construct an experimental that represents all the elements, conditions and relations to the consequences. Conduct the experiment, a raw data and reduce to usable form. Apply an appropriate test of significance. Next, components of experimental research. First, the manipulation of predictor variables, random assignment, random sampling, validity of results. Next, internal validity factors. First, history, maturation, pre-testing, measuring instruments, statistical regression, differential selection, experimental morality, then interaction of factors. Then external validity factors in experimental research. First, pre-testing, differential selection, experimental procedure, multiple treatment interference. These are the external validity factors in experimental research. Then research essential, manipulation of the independent variable. All variable except the dependent variable are held the constant. Manipulation of the dependent variable by the independent variable is observed. Next, importance to science education. Experiment plays several roles in science, one of which to test theories and to provide the basis for scientific knowledge. Experiment can also call for a new theory by showing that an accepted theory is incorrect, by exhibiting a new phenomena which needs explanation. Scientific research is a systematic examination of the structures and behavior of the social, physical and natural worlds by the study of observation and experimentation. It is the key to innovation, global competitiveness and the advancement of mankind. It is the world continue to improve the state of science, be it developing new treatments for their illness or exploring and identifying new galaxies. Advantage of the experimental research: it allows researchers to have a strong hold over variables and collect desired results. Results are usually specific. The effectiveness of the research is not affected by the subject. Finding from the results usually apply to similar situation and ideas. Cause and effect of a hypothesis can be identified, which can be further analyzed for in-depth ideas. It's the ideal starting point to collect data and lay a foundation for conducting further research and building more ideas. Then disadvantage of the experimental research. First, human error is a concern because the method depends on controlling variables. Improper implementation, the validity of the research and conclusion, eliminating external variables. Then the process is time consuming and is very expensive. The last to conclude, a conclusion is a statement based experimental measurements and observation. It includes a summary of the results, whether or not the hypothesis was supported, the signification of the study, and future research. These are the reference, and thank you.